Aaron Rouse with us here on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Aaron, it's Zick Fracassi and Phil Savage. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So we're going to go from safety Aaron Rouse to Senator Eric Rouse here.
Well, that's a little bit of a stretch here. I'm running for local office here in the city of Virginia Beach.
Go ahead, Phil.
Well, I was going to say, Aaron, what was the motivation for you? You go back to your hometown, Virginia Beach, and now you're going to run for the city council.
Well, I think it's important that people understand that Virginia Beach is the largest city in Virginia. We actually hold the World record for the longest pleasure beach, 35 miles of it. And we have a very large military population here. Also, I know people are familiar with Pharrell Williams and Gabrielle Douglas here. So I'm very passionate about my hometown. It means the world to me. And I'm running primarily because, I refuse to just stand on the sideline and watch career politicians make decisions that benefit special interest groups and their wealthiest campaign contributors.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Was this something that you thought about during your time in the NFL?
Well, the NFL, you're playing at an extremely high level there, so your focus is always on the game. But, I think this goes into the area of we are more than just athletes. A lot of guys deal with a lot of things that are on off the field. And as you know, NFL career, it's not something that's going to last a lifetime. So you want to make sure you have another plan. For me, if I was just passionate about where I grew up at, being a Virginia Tech Hokie, going to First Colonial High School here in Virginia Beach in the ocean front. When you're back in the community and you see things could be a lot better, you want to do something about it. And that's something that my grandfather, being an Army vet, taught me.
Aaron, what are some of the major issues in Virginia Beach in terms of things that you'd like to see squared away and improved?
Well, here in Virginia Beach, the residents, they deserve better. We're a coastal town, so obviously flooding is a huge issue for us. Sea level rise is a huge issue, as well as hurricanes and coastal storms. So I'd like to see us address drainage issues here in the city of Virginia Beach. But also, I want to level the playing field for small businesses, for women and minority-owned businesses, as far as for veterans and startups. Like, again, I said, we have a large military population here. And so we have a kind of a revolving door with the military population. I like for those men and women who bravely serve and protect us to make Virginia Beach their home.
Chatting with former Packers and NFL safety and Virginia Tech standout Aaron Rouse here on SiriusXM NFL Radio. You can follow, that's your account there, Roosevelt Rouse on Twitter, right?
Yes, sir. That is it.
There you go. Sounds good. Now, you mentioned the military, and obviously this hits a little bit of an emotional chord with you. Your grandfather was in the Army. Talk about his influence and then sort of the trickle-down on you wanting to give back.
Growing up in a small kid, single-parent household, as my mother, raising four of us, my grandfather was a huge influence on my life. He instilled a great work ethic, principles and values, and the value of integrity. He would always say to me, make sure your word is your bond, and you should always practice what you preach. And so that's something that, I want to do, is why I'm throwing my hat in this arena, to make sure that I can better serve the residents of Virginia Beach. It's about servant leadership, and that's something my grandfather was big on. He actually gave me my first job, and that was cutting grass. And if I didn't get the line straight, I couldn't use his lawnmower. So that's something that, I'm proud of.
Aaron, going back to your playing career with the Green Bay Packers, of course, you were selected in the 2007 draft. There was another player that had been there for a couple years by the name of Aaron Rodgers, who was sitting on the bench at that time behind Brett Favre. What have you made of his career, and could you have anticipated that he was going to become the player that he has during your time in Green Bay?
Yes, I think we all saw that Aaron Rodgers had a bright future ahead of him. But again, I think it goes back to the leadership that Brett Favre brought to the locker room. I mean, you talk about, the man of steel, so to speak, who's been in Green Bay for forever, had so many consecutive starts. And he brought that leadership of patience and making sure you do everything right in professionalism. And so we all knew that Aaron Rodgers wanted to get his time, but at the same time, we also wanted to make sure Brett Favre done everything and finished his career with Green Bay the way he wanted to. But the sky's the limit for Aaron Rodgers. We saw it coming. I mean, it's just a matter of time for him to get on field. And that's something about, it goes a long way with the leadership with Mike McCarthy and what they've done with that organization.
You still follow the game close, Aaron?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I keep up with it. Being an alumni of the NFL, of course, I'll follow the game.
Yeah.
How about the Virginia Tech guys? Anybody stand out to you? Of course, Tremaine Edmonds is probably the highest profile prospect. He's not even 20 years old yet. He's going to be entering the NFL draft as an outside backer this year.
Well, of course, Tremaine Edmonds, as a guy that I kept my eye on, playing in my main position I played there at Rover. And so you like to see the kind of those guys continue to pass the torch and live up to the standards and the legacy that you left there. But Virginia Tech has numerous athletes that are going to be coming out. We'll always be known for that. Bud Foster has done a great job with the defense there. Coach Frank Beamer, who's going into the Hall of Fame soon here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, in the Sports Hall of Fame. He's done a great job of passing the torch to Coach Fuente. And we're looking for big things coming out of Virginia Tech. But the game in itself in the NFL, I think on that level, I just think the league should do a better job of clarifying these rules. What's a catch and what's not a catch.
Yeah, amen to that, Aaron. We could have a 3-hour discussion just on what's a catch anymore in the National Football League. Of course, we're coming up to the draft, and obviously you were a guy that came out of Virginia Tech. Some said that maybe your senior year probably wasn't as good as it should have been. You ultimately went in the third round by Green Bay, but then went on to have a nice career in the NFL. If there are any draft prospects listening who've gone through the combine and all this kind of thing, what kind of advice would you give them as the draft draws near?
I would tell those guys, remain calm, enjoy the process, and it's not necessarily where you land or where you get drafted. It's about what you do when you get there. It's about the journey. Don't be so quick to run the race and the sprint ahead. This is a marathon there, and it's about the leadership and the qualities you're going to bring to your team. Because I tell you, and you guys know this pretty well, every draft pick that teams have is very important. It's very important, and even for those guys who goes undrafted, you get that opportunity there. You want to take advantage of your opportunity. Come in there with a level head and listen to the leadership. Listen to the guys that are already in the locker room, in the organization, and make sure you're on time for everything.
So now I saw something where you haven't officially declared your candidacy yet. Is that coming or what?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We have officially declared Friday. All of the paperwork is turned in. I'm officially running for city council at large in the city of Virginia Beach. And I'm looking forward to bringing a broader vision, progress, and leadership to our city. I think the council have done a good enough job getting us to this point. But once again, we want to get a fresh look in there, get better representation for the whole city, and make sure we continue to be economically and socially competitive with our surrounding neighbors.
Well, we're wishing you outstanding for what you've been able to do here, Aaron. Appreciated your career in the National Football League. Thanks for the time today, man. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me on. I'm just excited about the support that we've gotten, and everybody's coming out to really support. And I just want to say thank you again. And if you're listening, you can check out our Facebook page at Aaron Rouse Candidate at Large, and my Twitter page for the campaign is ARR4VB at Large, and our Instagram page is Aaron Rouse BB. Thanks, Jake.
Well, you got and if by the way, you can use the tactic. If you don't vote for me, I'll go and tackle you, right? So.
Yeah, I like that tactic, but I want to earn votes. Nothing in this world is given. I want to earn the residents' votes in Virginia Beach. So I like that though.
Good, Aaron. Thanks again,
man.
Good luck to you,
Aaron. That's
exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
You guys have a good one. Thank you so much.
You got it.